True or false? Mindset is a state of mind. Let's say that again. True or false? Mindset is a state of mind. Now, a lot of people, including myself, do fall into a category of false growth mindset. Now, what this is when you think you are in a growth mindset, but you're not. Maybe you're talking about the things you should do, but you're not exactly doing them. Maybe you're promoting a specific brand, but you're not actually supporting them. Different things like this is exactly what builds a false growth mindset. Hey, welcome to Mental Health Monday, where we're going to talk about a very wide variety of things that are going to take care of our souls so we can live fulfilling lives. I'm a psychology student that is obsessed with empowering you to live the best life and a life that you can love. Today, we're going to talk about the sciences behind mindset. Now, these videos are not boring. Science is usually, the eye roll. Oh God, not another one. I'm not boring. I can't research boring, and I will not present boring. So let's talk about how we can change your thoughts to support your successes. All right, so your reticular activating system, or your RAS, is a network of neurons. Basically, it's a stem that lives in your brainstem, which is back here. Now, this starts in your spinal cord, and it's about 2 inches long. So if you take and you bend 2 fingers like this, and you put your knuckles together, that is about 2 inches. So that lives back here. Your RAS regulates your wakefulness. It regulates what you're paying attention to, as well as some sensory factors. Now, your RAS is the length of a pencil. I don't have a pencil on me. I was going to show, but it is about the width of a pencil, and it's also where all of your senses, except for smell, come into. Smell goes through the emotional center of your brain, and we'll talk about that an entirely different day. Now, your RAS is like your filter between your subconscious and your conscious mind. The same way a coffee filter will keep out coffee grains of your cup, your RAS keeps out unwanted or unimportant items or environmental factors out of your subconscious and unsubconscious mind. So basically, your RAS is the gatekeeper. It shows you what's important and leaves out the rest. Without a properly working filter, you could feel extremely overstimulated and distracted by little noises. Now, one thing a lot of people do not quite understand is what neuroplasticity is. So I'm going to explain it in a way that I think you can understand. Basically, if you break down the word neuroplasticity, neuro is mind and plasticity is the function of change. So you put that together and it literally is your mind is able to change. Now, this is a phenomenon because the rest of your body stops growing at a certain age. Your mind is able to continue to change through your entire life. All right, now that we got kind of the boring stuff, what does your RAS and neuroplasticity have to do with your mindset? Easy. So, literally, what you think can change. What you feel can be managed, and how you react can be defined. All right, pay attention because this is where it gets real good. Now, your mindset is not fixed. It will not be how it's always been unless that's how you leave it. If you are determined that the sky is blue, you will always see a blue sky. If you're determined that the sky is red, you'll always see a red sky. And no matter what each other does, You cannot convince another that the sky is blue or that the sky is red. This is an example of a fixed mindset. Fixed mindset means there is nothing else aside from what you think because what you feel is spot on, so to speak. Now, RAS and neuroplasticity are intertwined. The RAS influences the brain, and by doing that, you're able to increase your neuroplasticity. For example, when you say you're talking to your spouse or you're talking to whoever and you want to buy a new truck. You want to buy a very specific white truck and you start researching it. All right, so your phone is automatically going to keep showing you things that is similar to what you're researching, similar to the algorithm. But did you notice that when you want a white truck, suddenly when you're out driving, you see all these white trucks? And they may be a different kind of truck, right? It could be a two-door, it could be a four-door, it could be a short cab, extended cab, beds. It could be all these different things, but nonetheless, you're seeing white trucks.
So a mindset shift means changing our belief, attitude, or perception. This can have a big impact on all of our aspects of life. The way that we see the world and how our RAS filters that information, it matches. So if we view the world as cold and ugly and dreary, our RAS is going to show us cold, sad, dreary, lonely. It's going to show us those things. But if you view the world as ever changing or beautiful or joyous, whatever, you're going to find that evidence. You're going to see joyous people. You're going to see beautiful flowers. This is a growth mindset. When you are tired of thinking sad and despair, when you are ready to live a great life, one that you actually love, you start to see everything that you actually love. So your mindset isn't stuck, but you have to use that 2-inch system back there to change it. Now, in our daily lives, I do completely understand that hard thoughts pop up. How much you strongly dislike something or how much you strongly wish something would change. Regardless of what it is, thoughts affect our attitude and our feelings. It's normal. It's completely normal. Now, a helpful technique that Mel Robbins suggests is called thought substitution. Basically, this is when you have a negative thought such as, I'm never going to be good enough. And you change that to, I'm going to learn to be good enough. A really good example that I know someone listening to this knows is nothing's going to go right? Everybody has that thought. It's already been done. There's no way I can do it. What if it goes wrong? What if I lose a butt ton of money? Just what if? But if you can change that from what if everything goes wrong and you just a little switch. What if everything goes right? What if all of your dreams and your biggest goals and attributions, what if it all comes to life? What if you work your butt off so you don't fail? Do you know what your RAS is going to do at that point? It is going to show you ways. It's going to guide you to people who can help, which is going to create a very strong network system. It's going to guide you to books that maybe have references in it that you can further along your mindset with. But when you just change that little what if I can't to what if I can, it's less letters, it's easier to say, and it literally will change everything. Now, I have a client, and she has been my client now for about 8 weeks. 8 weeks ago, she was struggling to get out of the house to go for her morning walk. Today, She owns a small cleaning business and she's consistently booking appointments. Now, this client she was a people pleaser. She would never do anything because she would be afraid of what they thought. Now, she does live in a small town, so this mindset is easily grasped because everybody knows everybody. But the second that she said, what if I can't, to what if I do? Now she's making close to a full-time paycheck every week by working 2 or 3 days a week. Now, when you start to identify where there's opportunities for growth instead of everything that you've done poorly, you can start to focus your thoughts and feelings on good, beautiful things, love, laughter, peace, joy, all of this stuff. Your RAS will start to filter out the negative. Whenever your RAS starts to determine those things are no longer important to you, those things will start to physically disappear. Whenever you have a toxic friend and you start to realize that there are traits in this toxic friend, you start to see those toxic traits all the way around you. At that point, it's up to you. Are you going to live with these toxic traits in this friend? Or are you going to push those toxic traits out the door because you know you deserve better? Whichever you decide, your RAS will give you that evidence. It's completely up to you. Now, self-awareness is key. It is key to initiating a mindset shift. Mindfulness practices. I have an Apple Watch. Everything I own is Apple. And there are alarms set up for me to practice mindfulness. It's 60 seconds where I close my eyes and I just focus on my breathing. It's nothing crazy. I sit in my chair or I stand against the wall. I don't lay down on a floor and no. I just close my eyes and breathe a little bit. This helps me observe the kind of thoughts that I'm having, and then I can challenge negative thoughts or I can bring in those positive thoughts. By just 60 seconds, closing my eyes and breathing, I'm engaging my RAS, I'm engaging neuroplasticity, I'm engaging all of these things by breathing. Goodness gracious, stay. Okay, so how do you change your mindset? You look in a mirror and you say, what if it works? What if I can? Instead of, oh, I can't do that. Or no way. No, guys, no. You maybe you can't do 15 push-ups like a freaking bodybuilder. Maybe you can't. I can't do that. But you know what I can do? I can get on the floor, I can drop my knees, and I can bend my elbows just a little bit. That is a push-up. To me, success is determined by the person. So if you find that not to be successful, maybe you should switch your mindset a little bit, because that is a push-up. That is a modified push-up, but nonetheless, it is still a push-up. Therefore, I'm successful. By consciously creating a positive mindset, you're literally going to start to draw people with positive mindsets to you, which makes it 10 million times easier to keep that mindset. Now, Mel Robbins, who is a New York's best-selling author of The High Five Habit and the 5-Second Rule, she also has a podcast, which is the Mel Robbins podcast. And in one of her podcast shows, she encourages her listeners to actively look for as many hearts as possible in the natural surroundings. Interesting, something pretty cool happened during this process while I did it. I found hearts everywhere. There is an oil stain in my garage in the form of a heart, and I had never seen it before. These heart shapes didn't come from literally nowhere. When you trigger your RAS to look for hearts, you start to see hearts the same way that you see trucks. This is a very active way of engaging your RAS to work for you. When you start to find hearts all over the place, then this becomes important and you want to know more, you want to see more, which increases your neuroplasticity. By using all of this together, you are cultivating a growth mindset. So I'm going to extend the invite to you. And if you do want more information on this, please visit Mel Robbins' website at melrobbins.com. And she has the mindset reset, and it's all laid out there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look for hearts. You're going to look for hearts everywhere today. You're going to eventually start to change your perception on the world, because you're going to start to see things that you never saw before physically. This will trigger your mind just to be aware of things that you didn't quite see mentally or emotionally. Your RAS works for you, and it's one of the most key factors that you need in changing your mindset. Without cultivating positivity, you'll never have positivity. Without cultivating a growth mindset, or by using it's always been that way, it'll always be that way. So today, find a heart, look in the mirror, find your evidence, and increase your RAS, increase your neuroplasticity, change your mindset. By changing your mindset, you will change the world. Had I never changed my mindset, I would still be in a psych hospital instead of a psychology student. I would still be very sad and lonely instead of living my best life in front of this camera. Well, not really, but this is part of it. Like, I would have never done this. The heart shape activity reminds us of how powerful our attention and intentions have. It shows our brains how to filter, interpret information based on what we want to focus on. Now, that question that I asked in the very beginning, true or false? Mindset is a state of mind. This is false. Scientifically, your mindset is a neural connection, and these connections bounce off your circuit board. Mentally, your mindset is the lens that causes you to view the world in a different perspective. And physically, it's what you think you deserve. At the end of each day, I want you to ask yourself, what was my favorite part of today? And that'll be your first step to knowing where you need to change your mindset at. If your favorite part was laying down and going to sleep, that probably means you have a very overstimulated day. If your favorite part was an actual event or a story or a thing that happened for you or to you, then you should probably dive into that and see if it can be improved. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I'm going to leave you the same way I always do. Be kind to yourself, always.